Everyone has a different perspective of Ernie and what his true personality is.
He'd get bent out of shape and get angry or whatever, but underneath it, there was just this, he really cared.
He looked at me in the eye and said, "Son, you can do this and you can compete, and I want you to go out and play your game and help us win football games."
More than once he would say, "Eckerd, you boob, you ran through the wrong hole. You should have run through the 5-hole instead of the 3-hole."
Just some background, when you came into the 7th grade at the academy, you went from female teachers and unicorns and rainbows into Ernie Steck with chalk and erasers flying.
He was pretty much the definition of scholastic terrorist.
He was a teacher, a mentor, a coach, and a friend.
I don't think I came to appreciate Ernie Steck and what he stood for and what the Academy stood for as a value until much later in life.
For many of us, Ernie is the Academy. We go back and look at our childhood memories, and when we think of the Albany Academy, we think of Ernie Steck. I'd like to paraphrase a quote from Pat Conroy in The Prince of Tides. "Through sports, a coach can offer a boy a secret way to sneak up on the mystery that is manhood." I think Ernie helped all of us transition through adolescence from young boys to young men.
My father had a great impact on a lot of people, obviously, in a number of different ways. There was a lot of pride involved in being the coach's son, simply because, he was so successful, but it was also somewhat complicated.
I was the captain of the tennis team for 2 years, and Ernie was my coach. And he taught me a lot about tennis, and he taught me a lot about how to play. Let me give you a story. He told me that I should always hit cross court because I always tried to go down the line, and that wasn't a high percentage shot for me. So he really taught me how to be thoughtful and to recognize when something's not working, and it is working now. Now, in fact, I'm wearing this tie right here because that's a picture of Ernie Steck that was done in 1956. You can see him with his wooden racket and his long pants out there. In those years, the academy courts were actually grass, so you can see the green grass that's... Okay, I know you're not believing me. You shouldn't. That's not really what Ernie Steck looked like back in 1956. In fact, back in 1956, he really looked like this.
One thing I wanted to mention, I don't understand the invitation. It doesn't make any sense to me, because if you can see, Mr. Steck looks like a jovial, jolly old soul here with a lovely smile on his face. The only time any of us in the 70s saw him look like that was when the leading scorer of the opposing team was being carted off the field on a stretcher. That's when you saw him smile like this.
Ernie brought youthful enthusiasm. And of course, he also brought Ronnie, who was his wife, and she was really a breath of fresh air.
My mother was very different than my father. I mean, she was a lot quieter. She would just say a few words and it would mean a lot. I mean, all she had to do was smile, and that pretty much said it all. And that's, I think, what she'd be doing.
The mothers always would badger me about how did he treat the boys during the halftime and how mean was he, etc. And I always gave them an answer that was the fact that everything was truly a to and from situation rather than a screaming, mean, maniacal coach.
He drilled into us discipline. And everyone do your job. And he always used the analogy of being in the foxhole And if everybody did their job and relied on one another, we would win. And that was a pretty good formula. Of course, some of these lessons were expressed in a rather loud verbal direction to us.
He was pretty intense, I can tell you that.
But I think at the root of it was really a desire to help young men do the best they can in a lot of different ways, not just sports.
Dedication, hard work, never say die attitude, all have been invaluable attributes that I have learned from you as I've matured as a young physician in my current leadership roles.
If it wasn't for Ernie Steck, and the son of a bee is going to make me cry again.
He's a luminary, and so it's a lasting legacy. It's a bright light, and it continues to shine to this day, as evidenced by the fact that so many have come to celebrate his life.
His attitude about everything is good enough to keep him here forever.
The guy's the real deal.
What you've taught us and how to believe in ourselves was very important, and thank you.
Just keep coming over here a lot. We like that.
Happy birthday, Ernie.
Happy birthday, Ernie.
Happy birthday.
Happy 90th birthday.
Congratulations, Coach Steck.
Besides a happy birthday, to thank those that are here tonight that have assisted the endowment, and to encourage others who haven't yet assisted in the endowment. It's a really important endeavor that will keep Ernie's spirit alive.
I wish you a happy birthday. I was told that if you happen to expire before the event, there aren't any prorated refunds for the tickets. Hey, it's a roast and a toast.
Hey, listen, that's the best news I've had from you in 10 years.
Thank you.
And that too. I'll see you.